All right, welcome everybody. How to fall more safely. I don't mean totally safely because that's not possible, but we can fall more safely. And I've gotten excited about this. I have colleagues in Colorado, Wisconsin, Canada. We meet on Zoom and we exchange our ideas because we're all really excited about this. Because all the talk is about fall prevention, super important. But there are also ways that when we do fall, we can stop ourselves and not even fall. And we can fall more safely so we don't hit our head, we don't break our wrist. And I was not an athlete, but you know, people who were parachute jumpers, martial artists, snowboarders, they've learned how to fall and tuck and be more safe as they fall. And we're probably not going to get to their level unless you are an athlete like that, which may well be true, not true for me. But we can learn some of these skills and practice them and keep ourselves a bit safer because falls do happen. So I think you know me, I'm Patricia Linderman. I guess in the recording you don't know me. I'm a functional aging specialist. And I love this topic. I've given this workshop in person at a yoga studio, my local rec center, for a group called Power Over Parkinson's, and it's been great. But this is my first time on Zoom. So we're figuring out how we can do this on screen with you in your homes, and I think we can do plenty. We can get a lot done. But my disclaimer. By continuing to stay with me or to watch the recording, you are agreeing that you are responsible for your own body, your own safety. Just do exactly what feels right for you. This is educational. I'm not telling you to do anything, so I just have to put that out there. Be mindful of your own safety. Be careful. I need to say that, but on the other hand, fear of falling is a risk factor for falling. So how could that be? Fear of falling is a risk factor for falling. Like, of course, we need to be cautious. But think about fear. I can show you. If I'm on my yoga mat, I can walk around, no problem. But if that yoga mat was 20 feet in the air, I'd probably fall off. Same surface, same body, but my fear 20 feet in the air would make me lose my balance. I would panic, I would stiffen up, and I just wouldn't be able to be easeful and confident in my movements the way I am now. So for a lot of people, the idea of falling tends to take on that kind of fear because they've been told you have osteoporosis, you just better not fall. Or just like all those statistics, like how many people die of hip fractures and everything. It's important to be cautious, but it's not the whole story. So today we're giving some more of the story that we want to still be cautious. We want to work on fall prevention. We want to work on balance training. We want to get rid of those throw rugs and watch our footwear, and our path to the bathroom is lighted up. But we also want to build some ease and confidence in our body so that if we start to stumble, we know our body knows what to do and has some confidence in it. So that's what we're going to do today. So everybody has the first question, like, wait a minute, Patricia. When you're falling, you don't have time to make a plan. So when you're starting to fall, you're like, what did Patricia say? What should I do? Okay, no, you're right. You don't. You don't have time to make a plan. So that's why we're going to work on 5 reflexes or habits today that you're not just going to learn about. I hope to inspire you to keep practicing these. And as you practice these, which are actually beneficial for your body in other ways too, as you practice these simply in your daily life, you will become more resilient to falling, and you will become less likely to have a serious injury, which tends to be head injuries, wrist fractures, hip fractures, less likely to have one of those serious injuries. When you do fall, you might just come out with bruises and so on. So that's where we're going today. All right. It's about, where's my music? So this is up to you. I'm not commanding you to do anything. I'm just inviting. If you want to, if you feel right doing things along with me, let's get a little bit warmed up so we can move. All right. This is what it's about, staying alive. Okay. So if you feel like it, stand up to you, or you can even stay in your chair. We're gonna just we're gonna move our arms, a little twist. All right, let's kind of swim gently with our shoulder. We're just warming up the body so we can move a little bit if we want to. All right, let's do a little twisting movement. It's all about staying alive, staying alive. All right, if you're standing up, you can do a little hula hoop, or maybe even in your chair, little hula hoop, other way. Nice. All right, something with the legs. If you're standing up, maybe a little knee circles. Other ways. All right, if you're standing up, take some support, or you're seated. Let's make some little leg and ankle circles. Other direction. Other leg. Other direction. All right, very good. I feel better already. Okay. All right. So we're going to practice first the feeling of losing our balance, but we catch ourselves. So that's really our first line of defense. Our first line of defense is that we're starting to fall, but we catch ourselves. And in physical training, we learn, like balance training, we learn there are actually 3 strategies for catching ourselves. So if you're standing up, the first strategy is your feet and ankles. So you start to lose your balance, and your feet and ankles are your ankles are moving a little bit. Your feet are maybe if you lean forward, your toes are gripping. If you lean backwards, your heels are coming down, and your feet and ankles are really helping you control your center of gravity, your balance. But what happens is our ankles get stiff, and we kind of forget to use them. So this is actually one of the first things that we can practice at home, using our ankles to sway. And if we find that our ankles are tight, we can just put our foot up a wall or up on a yoga block and do some ankle stretching. We want to have those ankles flexible. So just do this with me for just a moment if you're doing stuff with me. We're just going to roll our ankles out and in very gently. Out and in, out and in. Make sure you don't tweak your knees. I have knee arthritis, but I'm being careful. So out and in, and then you can sway forward and you feel your toes grip, and you sway backward, and you come on your heels, your toes might lift up, You go from side to side, you feel those ankles moving. So this is something like you're standing in line at the supermarket, right? You can do some ankle sways. Just keep those ankles alert to your swaying because they're your first line of defense. Your second line of defense is your hips. Oh, we got another person coming in. Welcome, welcome. And we had Joyce join us. Welcome, yay. All right. Our second line of defense is our hips. And we forget to use those too. So if I have to reach for something in front of me, my ankles aren't going to take me very far. So I need to bend at the hip to be able to reach without falling over. And that is a very useful strategy, but sometimes people they kind of stiffen up. They feel like they're going to fall and they don't bend their hips. Bending our hips is a very, very effective strategy. So let's put on some music and let's practice. If you're willing, if you want to practice with me, we're not falling down, so be careful. All right, Joyce says, yay, okay, nice. So here's our music. All right, so I'm standing up. I'm gonna start swaying, first with my ankles. And I notice I don't get very far, but I can sway. Ooh, I can sway. You might want to have a chair or a wall nearby. I'm swaying with my ankles. I'm not getting very far, but I'm getting somewhere. All right, but now I'm gonna get really loose. So get really loose with me. And my knees bend, and my hips bend. Oh, look at me sway now. Oh, wow. If you're doing this with me, explore the limits of your balance. They're a lot bigger. The magic technique. I go weak. And that is a good point because we notice when we sway, we can get a lot farther and then maybe we don't fall over. Maybe we don't even fall. But if we do fall, we're already down lower. We're already bent. We're already closer to the ground. And if we do fall, then we can just maybe crumple down and not hurt ourselves. So this swaying and practicing our balance is part of staying upright, and it's a segue into our falling practice. You don't have to fall on the floor like me. We're going to do it in a chair, but it's all related. So the ankles, the hips, and then the third strategy, I don't know, we're recording, so you probably don't want to speak up. So the third strategy, I won't ask you what it is, I'll just tell you, it's the step strategy. So when I'm leaning, but then I'm still going, I step out. So I'm leaning, I'm losing my balance, and I'm taking a step. And this is something we sometimes forget to do. Our bodies forget to do it. We're just like, whoa, whoa. And so it is something we need to practice. Leaning, taking a step, leaning, taking a step, and a quick step, because it has to be quick to catch us. So this is actually power training. This is good for us in many ways, but it's a kind of a safety training that we can do to catch ourselves by stepping out. And it's really nice if you have a partner. We do this in the workshops. Like they can put their hand on your chest or your shoulder or your back and you kind of lean into them. and then they take their hand away, and you have to step. Like you're surprised, you don't know when they're going to take their hand away, and you have to step. But then they're there to catch you if needed. So it's a great thing to do with a partner. But we can also simulate it by just pretending to fall and catching ourselves. So one way I love to do this is imagine I'm standing on a clock. So 12 o'clock is in front of me, 6 o'clock is behind me, and I'm going to pretend to fall in all of those clock directions, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I'm going to do that. Feel free to do that with me if you want. If you feel safe, you're responsible. Listen to your body. Whatever we do today, we want to create more ease and confidence in your body. We don't want to scare your body or cause tension or more fear, because remember, fear is a risk factor. We want ease and we want confidence. We want like, oh yeah, oh sure, I can handle that. That's what we're going for. Kind of a looseness and an ease and an agility. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to be an athlete or a runner or anything. We can all work on this and get better at it. So I'm going to fall around the clock, as I call it, and it's completely up to you. If you're doing it with me, you can take little steps, you can take big steps, and it's also nice, it's a balance exercise if you just do a toe tap to all those directions. But for a falling exercise, we're kind of pretending to fall. Now, I'm used to this, so the backwards ones don't surprise me. I'm going backwards, I'm used to it. If you're not used to it, be careful. Hang on to your wall or your chair, or don't do the backward stuff. Like, this is something to work up to. This is not just one and done. You do it with me today and you did it. Something you want to keep practicing. So I have the perfect music for this, I think. It's the Dick Van Dyke Show. He just turned 100, and he had the show when he would come in and he would kind of stumble in his living room, and so it's perfect. And this song is only like 40 seconds long, but we get all the way around the clock. So I'm going to turn my back to you. Get rid of the cat dish here. And so if you want to do it with me, you're kind of mirroring my motions. Okay, here we go. And remember, you have the recording, so you can come back to this. Here we go. 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 with the other foot. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. I love to do it. Yay! I love that exercise. And it's something we can do every day. It's good for our hip muscles. It's good for our agility. You can take a giant step or you can take a tiny step, and it's beneficial no matter what. Because walking is a controlled fall. So we do this every day. We only do it mostly forward, right? We're going forward. But we want to be able to go in all directions, because you never know where you're going to stumble and catch yourself. Okay. One skill I want to show you quickly, because I love it, is called catch falls. This comes out of the world of parkour, that wild sport where people jump over railings and jump between buildings. But there's a new movement to bring some of those skills, which is just basically being creative with your body and your environment, to older adults like me. And it's really exciting. So it's a super simple skill. because you might have a railing, you might have a low wall, you might have something to catch yourself, and we want to learn to catch ourselves with our muscles and not with our stiff arms. Stiff arms are a typical reflex when people are falling, and there's even a medical name for it. It's called FOOSH, fall on outstretched hands, and it's a very typical cause of injuries. So, but if we catch ourselves with our muscles, which includes our finger, hand, arm, shoulder, chest, back, even our core, we can actually cushion that fall. And the other thing that's great about this is it's like a push-up. It's a great upper body exercise. So I'm going to crank you over here to my wall. So basically what I'm doing is I'm pretending to fall, and I'm catching myself with my muscles. So that's all there is to it. I maybe put my hands in different orientations, and I feel it all through my upper body. It's a great exercise. I can do it on my wall. I could do it on a countertop. My chair might slide, so I have to be careful. Put it somewhere where it's not going to slide, and I can do a catch fall on my chair and make sure I'm using my muscles. So just wanted to introduce that quickly because it's just a super, you can do 30 seconds of catch falls and you've done something great for your upper body, and you're building a reflex that can help you if you're stumbling and have something to catch yourself with. All right, but let's get to the main event, the actual falling. So, I like this example. How we want to fall and how we don't want to fall. So this is a stick, a dowel, and it demonstrates how we do not want to fall. So the stick would just, woo, ouch, right? It falls, it slams down, it hits its head. We don't want that. But if we're afraid, if we're panicking, if we stiffen up, we can easily fall like that. And that's when we get the head injury, maybe that we hit the hip, or maybe we stiffen the arms, and that's what we don't want. So we want to train ourselves away from that, and we want to fall up more like this. Now this chain is about the same length as the dowel, but when it falls, it just kind of crumples down, it bends, it's a lot more elegant, and it doesn't have that slamming force. So we want to fall more like the chain. I also compare it to skidding on the ice. If anyone here has learned how to drive on slippery conditions, you know that our first reflex might be to go and grab the wheel and panic. But what we need to do is be kind of easeful, kind of go with it, and find our way through back to where we want to go. And that's the kind of thing we want to train in our falling. And I submit that you already know how to do this, because if you were holding a baby, if you were holding a baby, in my case it's a donkey. So if you were holding a baby and all of a sudden you trip and fall, what's your body going to do? I think instinctively it's going to bend, it's going to tuck, it's going to sink down as much as it can, and it's going to protect that baby. And that's kind of what we want to do with ourselves, even without a baby. All right, so let's practice this falling into our chair. If you're willing, if you want to. So I have my chair. And I'm going to start by holding my donkey You can pretend to hold something, or you can hold something even like a pen or a phone or something, right? And then I've got my chair here, and then I'm just going to pretend I'm sinking down. I'm crumpling into my chair, and I'm tucking my head, I'm tucking my arms, and I'm also kind of rolling with it, right? I'm not going boom. I'm bending, I'm slowing down, and I'm just... So we need to have some leg strength to slow down. That's another thing to practice, like the slow sitting down. That gives us some leg strength. All right. So I'm going to put Mr. Donkey, Ms. Donkey down and show you what it looks like without a donkey. So it's like, whoa, I'm falling. And I crumple, tuck, and roll. I can do that into my chair. Now you might notice that I was heading for my side, and I'm doing that on purpose. Because when we land, some of the side body is some of the safest place to land because we've got meaty muscles here, the side of our glutes and our side of our body here. So it's kind of nice to try to roll to your side if you're falling. So if anyone's doing this with me, you can sink into your chair, tuck and roll. We've got kind of Tyrannosaurus arms here. So we're not doing this for sure. And some people ask, like, should I protect my head? Well, we usually just don't have time to do that. We're going to tuck. We're going to tuck. So we tuck into our chair, and we're falling. And you might notice, you try both sides, you probably notice that there's a side that feels more natural to you. So for me, it's my left side. It feels good to fall on my left side. And I can do it again and again. And you can do this on your couch. You can do this on your bed. You can just practice that tucking and rolling. You never have to throw yourself on the floor. But if you practice it on your couch and your bed, if the time comes that you're falling, you'll be more likely to be able to crumple, tuck, and roll on the ground as well. All right. I'm recording, so I don't have a lot of feedback from you guys, but I hope it's coming through okay? Making sense? All right, awesome. Okay, so we practiced into the chair. So I'm on the floor here, but you can just imagine you're on your bed. The floor is great, but you can practice it anywhere. You can just kind of get on your back, and you can kind of roll around. So you see how my head is not hitting the ground. That's the key to it. So maybe I'm sitting up on my bed, and I just roll back, and you didn't see my head there. All right, I just roll back, and my head didn't slam the ground. So that's what I'm practicing. I'm on my bed, and I go, ooh, but my head didn't slam the ground. I'm on my bed, I fall backwards, woo! My head didn't slam the ground because it's a major thing. There was one really interesting study. They looked at a group of younger people and a group of older people, and they had them with a controlled fall on a big soft surface, and they found that the older people hit their head more. Like they had the same kind of falls as the younger people, but they hit their head more. And I think it's because they've sort of lost some of that control, but we can get it back. We can get back that head control so that we're not hitting our head. All right. Now I know you're going to ask, what if you're falling forward? If you're falling forward, I'm going to start by kneeling here. If you're falling forward, I like to roll to that side. Like here I go, I'm falling forward and whoa. You see what I did there? So I did bump my elbow a little bit, like no guarantee that you're not going to come out with bruises, but I didn't hit my head and I landed on the meaty part of my body. And even if I'm falling backwards, I can roll to that side of my body. And eventually it becomes kind of empowering. You're like, whoa, I can do this. Even if you only practice on your couch in your bed, you feel like, oh, this isn't so bad. My body knows what to do. And then eventually, woo! So, that's kind of a sequence that you can do. You can tuck and roll, chair, sofa, bed, and then you can work your way up to yoga mat or not. It doesn't matter. You're doing good things. You're doing good things for your body. All right. So the floor. Let's talk about the floor. Because fear of falling is a risk factor for falling. So if you're standing up, or if you're willing to stand up, I just want you to look at the floor and really tune in and see how you feel about the floor. Really kind of tune in like, This was part of my own personal journey. When I was in my early 50s, I'm now 65, I would look at the floor and it looked kind of far away. It looked scary because I was overweight and not in good shape. And when I looked at the floor, it looked like, whoa, if I get down there, it's kind of hard to get back up. And if we think of the floor as a place where, woo, we don't want to go there, then we're more of that fear, that panic, that natural, very natural, like our body's afraid of the floor. So if you look at the floor and you notice like, whoa, it's not my friend, just notice that with kindness. That's just a fact. Whatever you feel right now is what you feel, and it's valid. But you might ask yourself with curiosity, like, can I change that? And one way to change it is just to get down and up every day, which we should all be doing. And one way to make that happen is to practice our strategies for getting down and getting up. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So getting down and getting up, it's great by itself, but it's also part of this falling more safely, because if we're less afraid of the floor, if we're more confident that, oh yeah, I can get back up, then we're actually less likely to fall. And we're less likely to hurt ourselves because we're not in that panic mode. We're in that, okay, yeah, I can do this. So there's absolutely no disgrace using a chair to get down and get back up. So let's look at some strategies. Like I know people that I work with at the rec center, like they're kind of mad because they can't get up directly like this anymore. I can't, my hips are too tight. I can't do that. I have to at least take one hand and pick up my feet. All right, nothing wrong with that. And then also people come and they're down and then they're like, I can't get up, because they expect to use their abs to get up. But we really want to take advantage of all of what we've got. So to get up, we use our upper body to get to either our hips or our knees. A lot of us don't want to be on our knees. That's okay. You get to your hips. You can plant a foot. Come up. You can even climb up your body. You can climb up a chair. Nothing wrong with that. And get up. You can use that chair to get down. Use that upper body. This is good upper body strengthening. Upper body coming down either to your knee or your hip. and getting down from there. So, very important skills for functional aging, but also for falling more safely. Because if you feel like the floor is a friendlier place, if you have a friendlier relationship with the floor, you're actually more resilient against falling and injuries. It's amazing, but it's true. So we also want to have that friendlier relationship with gravity. Kind of like the chain, we're just kind of, oh yeah, I'm going with it, I'm going with it, I'm going with it. It's almost like a surrender feeling. Oh, Tanya's got to go. Yeah, you said you did. So take care, thank you. So it's almost like instead of fighting the fall, you're almost like surrendering and going with it. It works better. It's like that skidding when you're driving. If you go with it, but then you see where you can steer safely. So it's like, whoa, I'm falling, but I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll into it. Because rolling takes that force away. So we're not slamming ourselves on anything. So even just getting on your bed, getting on the floor, and just rolling around and just getting the feel of how you're not stiff, but you're kind of roly-poly. We all are. We can do that. We can tuck and we can roll on our sides. Our back can roll. If we're going completely forward, I like to roll to the side. That's what I try to do and try to teach. But also, if you are really falling forward, you're kind of going, you're surrendering, you're bending, and then maybe your muscles are catching you as you go down. So it's the same kind of principle. You're bending, you're surrendering, but your muscles are catching you. So what I do when I have a class doing this live, we work on the person's best strategy, the person's favorite falling strategy. And we use a very big gymnastics pad, but your bed will work. So you find your falling strategy that feels good for you. Like, okay, I'm going to crumple to my side. I'm going to tuck my head this way, or I'm going the other way. And then you just practice that, and that becomes your strategy. And then when a fall happens, it's going to kick in. It'll kick in, hopefully. We don't know, no guarantee, but more likely to avoid injury. All right. So let's practice again if you want to sway and to stumble. And then I think I'll stop the recording before we take questions. So, okay. So if anyone wants to sway with me. So first, let's pretend we're the stick. Oh, we're the stick. This is not what we want. We don't feel very stable at all. We're fighting gravity. We're the stick. No, we're not the stick. We're graceful. We're supple. We are bendy. We can sway. We can bend. Maybe even backwards. Notice what your hips have to do when you sway more. Your hips bend, controlling your center of gravity. Your ankles are working, your hips are working. Now, take it even farther if you feel ready. So you have to use that step strategy. Woo! Going. Woo! Even backwards. I'm leaning. And I take a step. I'm gonna lean. then my weight's already on this leg, so what do? I have to use the other leg, so here we go. Woo! It's harder to actually use that leg again. This is something just to get the feel for in your body. What does it feel like? How can you build that ease and confidence? Here we go. Woo! Step. 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 And if I do fall, I'm already partway there. Woo! Nice. Okay. I had a song for getting on the floor. What you gonna do? You gotta get down. Alright, maybe I'm using my own body. I'm being careful. I'm getting down. I'm using my upper body. I'm using my own body. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Come on, get down on it. Get down on it. Woo! Get down on it. Get down on it. How you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? Nice. By standing on the wall. Get your back up on the wall. Tell me, how you gonna do it if you really don't wanna dance? By standing on the wall. Get your back up on the wall. Now I'm gonna fall into my chair. Get down on it. If you really want it. Get down on it. Feel it. Get down on it. Get down on it. Woo! Baby, baby. Get down on it. Get on it. I said people. Woo! What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gotta get on the groove. Okay, get on the groove. All right. I'm just gonna stop the recording so we can share some questions without feeling self-conscious and give some feedback. But those of you on the recording, thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this useful. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, feedback, anything at all. I love it. So my colleagues and I are very excited about bringing these skills to the world, and this is just part of the experiment, my first time on Zoom, and so we really want to know if it's helpful. So thank you for being here.